entitlement. Okay, so we're just going to talk about how you earn the ranks of E1, Airman Basic, E2, Airman, E3, Airman First Class, and E4, Senior Airman. Every individual that comes into the Air Force is going to start off as an E1 if you do a 4-year contract. If you do a 6-year contract, you're automatically promoted to E3, Airman First Class, after graduating tech school. Now, for example, Ethan Wakefield's going to be in tech school forever, so he's going to probably get promoted to the rank of A1C if he was an 18-year-old. You have college, so he's already at E3. So there's different ways that you can earn E3, depending on your college credits. So you can get E2 or E3 if you have a certain amount of college credits. I think for E2, you have to have more than 15, and I think E3 is roughly around 30-something. But those are ways just to kind of promote from there. How to get to E4? Who's done research and heard of Senior Airmen below the zone? Okay.
The BLC test or something?
It's not a test or anything. It's just, what have you heard about?
Is it like a program where like they try and pull people up that have been like E3 for like too long, the Air Force considers or something? I don't know. I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Not really.
Isn't it like your commanding officer can pick a certain amount of percentage of people that wouldn't normally qualify for E4 yet, but they can pull you up early or something like that?
Or you have to volunteer?
No, that's absolutely not. That's like E4. So senior airman below the zone is you're at E3. You're doing good things in your career field, and somebody notices it. If you have a good supervisor, they'll write a package for you, which is like a resume that says all the good things that you've done since you've been in the Air Force. It's pretty much a push statement to get you promoted quicker. So what happens is if you win senior airman below the zone, it's like a marking period where you're gonna be in a slot for. So like everybody that's close out is in May. Go ahead and turn in their senior airman below the zone. If you get selected, you'll put on E4 6 months before you were supposed to. Okay, so that's all you have to do is just do your job really good and have a good supervisor that's writing down and documenting everything. They always tell you in the Air Force, make sure that you have like a little book on you where you can just take a little quick note of what you've done. So say if you're at work one day and say for you, pilot was like, man, you worked on my aircraft and saved us so many hours worth of stuff. Make sure you like jot that down because the Air Force loves numbers, and what we call it is a bullet. I saved 24 hours of labor to the mechanic shop, ultimately saving the Air Force $500,000. That's how they work. That's how they work everything in the Air Force is like, you did so much of this and it saved this. They love numbers. So those little bullets will ultimately put you in like a package with other airmen, and y'all will kind of battle it out to see who can get below the zone. Only a certain percentage can get that below the zone, but definitely try to get it because, I mean, if you so on 6 months earlier, that leads to you maybe testing earlier than you were supposed to for Staff Sergeant becoming an NCO. Any questions about that?
What rank is NCO?
E5, Staff Sergeant. Yep.
Isn't it like naturally from E3 to E4 you have to have like a time and rank in E3 for like a year or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's where that below the zone can knock that off.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I don't know if I know somebody came here talking about that they got rid of testing for us.
Me.
You did. I don't know if y'all were paying attention to that. So a lot of other branches like to talk to you about, oh man, the Air Force, they promote slowly. How many of y'all have heard that from other branches?
All the time.
All the time.
Just the Army, right?
Everybody just says that.
Yeah.
But now for the Air Force, E1 through 4 is the same across the board. I think it's a little bit harder in other branches to make E4, but we give that to you as long as you don't get in trouble. You have to test for E5 once a year, so if you fail it, you gotta wait until the next year. E6, you test for it once a year, you fail it, but say if you pass Staff Sergeant, you have to wait 2 years. You can't test, and then you can test for E6, because they want you to kind of learn how to be a Staff Sergeant first. Then you'll test for E6. Once you make E6, you will not test for your next rank anymore in the Air Force, which is awesome. I love it. So now, if I get promoted one more time, I'm done testing. It's over for me. I get this. I don't make rank automatically, But now what happens is now they look at your job performance. Are you killing it at work? And you'll get put on against a board, and pretty much they're just gonna look over all the great things that you've done, all the bullets that you've collected, all the EPR evaluation and performance reports that you've started working on yearly, and all that will come into play of you getting promoted, which I think is awesome, instead of just, I take tests and I'm smart.
How hard is the staff sergeant, like, test?
It depends. Some people are good testers, some people aren't. I made staff sergeant on my 3rd try. This year will be my 4th try on E6. But there's some people that's made every rank first try, boom, boom, boom. But at the end of the day, that can be a good thing and a bad thing. Yes, you got promoted, but 2, are you capable of leading after making rank in 6 years?
Is the test different for every job?
Yes.
Okay.
Good question. So what happens is when you test for staff sergeant, you'll test, one test will be on the actual job that you're in, and the other test will be on the Air Force itself. Now, when I was in security forces, I had a security forces test, and then I had an Air Force test. As a recruiter, I only have an Air Force test now, so it even changes if you do a special duty. So all of you guys will have a job test, a job-based test, and just the Air Force knowledge. That's a good question. Any other questions about rank?
Does going through ranks change your job?
No. So I'll take that back actually. It can. So say you're in security forces, E1, 2, and 3 are usually not gonna be your individuals riding patrol. They can be, but they usually not. So it can affect like how your responsibility within the job. So your staff sergeants will be allowed to ride in the car by themselves. And tech sergeants will be able to ride in patrol vehicles by themselves, where if E3, A1C ends up in a car, he's gonna have a lead. So it can factor, like if you're the lead or the member, if you have somebody supervising you. So in the mechanical world, you'll have a flight, like a crew chief, and you'll be a part of his team. But say you promote into staff sergeant, then you'll become a crew chief, and then you'll have airmen under you. So it can fluctuate your responsibilities. It's kind of a newer group, but Christopher, you were here last time. Did we talk about entry controllers? I know Austin's probably heard about entry controllers a couple times.
Say what?
I've heard about
Entry-
that.
What?
EC?
ECU?
For 11 months.
Okay, we'll cover it then. All right, so in basic training, while everybody is asleep in bed, there's gonna be people that have to do the entry control duty.
Oh yeah, I know. Okay, yeah, we
All
talked
right,
about
so
this.
I didn't know that's what that was called.
yeah, so pretty much that job can be very stressful for you guys if somebody knocks on the door. If nobody knocks on the door, it's not gonna be stressful for you guys. But pretty much entry control, if somebody knocks on the door, it's procedures that you're supposed to follow, and it's like gonna be right next to the window. Like, read this, okay? But you're gonna be so scared because it's gonna be somebody yelling at you out the window right here. So, you know, you're gonna be reading off like, sir, how may I help you? And they're gonna be like, just let me in. And you gotta go through a whole procedure of, you know, getting their identification. They gotta put their cat card against the window and flip it over and all this good stuff. You're gonna be scared, it's gonna make you nervous, but
Do they come there and try to get in at night
oh,
just
they
to
do it on
fuck with you?
purpose. Oh yeah. They'll
Wait,
put
can
their-
the people that are sleeping hear it?
yeah.
Oh no, they can't be messing with my
Yeah,
sleep.
they'll bang on the door and they'll be like, let me in. And you just sit there and be like, one white common access card, and they'll just keep yelling at you. Someone will put their driver's license against there and you'll be like, that's the wrong ID, and then they'll flip out some more. Just try to stay calm.
Is it an
Oh, they
MTI
do this on
that
purpose?
does this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh yeah, it's all on purpose. So you
Hold
know,
on, somebody told me that was in BMT.
that's in BMT.
The boys, the brother flight.
Mm.
It, every time they had an issue, they would go in the bathroom for 30 seconds and fight each other.
If you get
I
caught
don't
fighting,
know.
isn't that like bad?
Yes.
Well, they didn't get caught.
I wouldn't do that.
Do you have to do this like every week? Like,
This is all day while y'all are in the dorm. Like, as soon as y'all get in the dorm room, there's an entry control.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
you can
always
also get
someone-
fired from your job, right?
Yes, because you're just not doing a good job at it. Yes,
So what happens if you get fired?
you get fired. Then they move on to the next person to do it. But I mean, they're gonna try to train you to the point that they don't have to fire you. They're not just gonna let you quit. They're gonna want you to be able to do the task. And if you just keep failing, they're just gonna keep putting you at your control.
Oh,
And there's shifts, so it's not like you're there for 12 hours. There's like 2-hour shifts. So, you know,
So everyone has to do it. Huh?
everybody has. Well, it's usually, it's limited to a
Like
couple
dorm
people.
chief.
The element leaders.
Oh, okay.
The
So
element
how do
leaders
they
usually-
pick those people?
So I was the element leader in basic training. Usually what happens, the people that are the tallest get picked to be element leaders.
Oh, I won't have that issue.
Oh, yeah, that's not me.
You're a female.
Well, like, wait, is it only boys that do
It's
it?
boys and girls. So girl flight will have their own EC monitors.
Oh God, but I'm not that tall. There's some girls, some big girls.
You know. But usually that's how they picked it when I was in basic training. I don't know how to pick element leaders now, honestly. But usually it's gonna be your taller people. But it wasn't that bad. It was just weird. Especially, but it just makes your heart just jump when it's 2:30 in the morning and you hear that. You're just like, oh my God.
So wait, you lose 2 hours of sleep then?
Somebody will, yes.
I give them
Yes.
more power.
You would be, because.
Did you ever have it?
Yeah. So it was, we wake up, I think it was like, we woke up at like 4:30 and I had the 2:30 shift.
Oh.
And yeah, you miss 2 hours of your sleep.
And you look like a zombie.
I'm like, they don't care. You'll be alright.
What time do you go to bed?
Usually y'all are in bed at 8:30, 9.
Oh, I can dig that.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
out
fine.
first one out
Yeah,
every
it's, not,
day.
it's not like they make y'all go to sleep at midnight and like get up at 3. No, it's not. Y'all, it's like a rule that 8 hours is necessary.
That sounds nice. 8:30.
I mean, yeah.
Until you gotta do that control thing.
Yeah.
You get
In the middle of
But I mean,
6 hours.
A lot of people
Yeah.
are like, man, I gotta go to sleep at 8 o'clock. I can't fall asleep. Yeah, by the time you're done with your day in basic training, you will go to sleep instantly.
Especially the first day, right?
First day, second day, all the days,
Oh.
except when you're probably about when you're about to graduate. That's when you start staying awake because now you're getting excited that you're about to be done.
So my one friend said like the first couple of days you don't go to sleep until like midnight or like sometimes like 3 or 4.
And they won't wake you up until like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll compensate for the first day, kind of.
Okay.
Do they do a lot of PT on the first couple of days, or
Nope.
like
You do 0 PT the first week in basic training.
really?
It's the acclimation period.
Okay, I have a question. I bought sweatpants for the first 3 days.
That's fine.
Are you sure?
Sure.
Somebody told me that they're gonna be put on jeans.
You might. It depends if it's revealing. That's what they're
Oh
probably
no,
talking about.
it's
Like,
not tight.
If you
it's
show up
not
with like
saggy.
yoga pants on, they're gonna be like,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Do you know that it's like 80 degrees?
I mean, well, I don't like
Yeah.
jeans, so I don't feel like wearing no jeans.
Just wear like the Adidas kind.
Mhm.
Just buy you some Adidas or Nike type
Well,
pants.
sweater.
But yeah, that's pretty much entry control.
August, so what's
Um,
in
Everybody has heard of Beast, correct?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All
Well, you
right.
sleep outside in this tent, right?
Mm.
It's tent-ish.
Oh.
It's like this
Oh,
big
no, thank you.
garage.
I can't wait for that.
And
I heard the bathrooms
Wait, wait, what?
Wi-Fi.
it's like a big
They smell
garage. It's
horrible.
just
They make you
huge.
sleep out in the garage?
Huh?
What, they make you just like camp out for a night or something?
It's a camp out for a week. It's supposed to pretty much show a deployment.
That's, yeah.
And like just doing like research, the purpose of it came from when we were starting up the war with Iraq.
Yeah.
And we were just going on with just learning this base defense. So that's why they enrolled into basic training, so everybody would know a little bit.
And I didn't know that this is something I'm pretty sure nobody in here knows, or maybe it's just me. I didn't know like when you deploy for 6 months, you're not allowed to have like any type of intercourse with. I didn't know that. Is that true?
What?
No, seriously.
Going to find a
I'm
base.
no. I'm finding this information out from people that's in there, so I'm just
Yeah.
asking.
No, you're not supposed to have intercourse while you're on a deployment.
Wow.
If you get pregnant during a deployment,
Then you get in
you're
trouble.
about to be in a lot of trouble. Is there selling of condoms on deployments? Yes, they are. Do people have sex? Yes, they do.
I mean, and I ask these questions because people on my YouTube ask me, so
Yeah.
that's why it's being reciprocated.
There's some bases where you can get in a lot of trouble for it, and there's some bases that you can't get in trouble for it. You'll just get yelled at. But there's some bases that you can get an article for it and sent home.
So is it pretty much like wait till you're out of the military to have children?
No.
Then why, like, Everything
Only
you
on a
need.
deployment,
So when I, like, after high school, I get my orders for, like, 4 years or whatever, because usually they're, like, long, right?
Mhm.
And then I decide, like, oh, I want to get married and start a family.
Get married and start a
That's
family.
okay?
Just don't do it on a deployment. That's the main thing, cause you're on a deployment. You're in Afghanistan or you're in a
Is
Qatar.
that why they're like, hey, don't do that? Cause
Yes,
anything
it's a
can
mission
happen.
here.
But if
Like,
some
we
people
need everybody to be
hear-
here because it's not like we can just put you on Southwest to take you back home.
When
Okay.
some people hear they're getting deployed, they purposely get pregnant.
Some people may strategically plan out their pregnancies. I mean,
Strategically.
but at the same time, if you're a male, you're going regardless. But female, you can't go, of course, if you're pregnant.
Love sucks to be all.
I mean, I've seen both sides get taken out of it. People get taken out of deployments, but don't do that because it can ruin somebody else. Because guess what? It's just like tech school. If you don't go, guess what?
Somebody else will.
Somebody's seat is still, somebody's sitting in your seat. Like, this is a position, you know, is somebody gonna take that? It's the same thing with a deployment. We tasked your base with 14 people. 2 of them drop out, 2 more need to get picked up. And now those 2 people that were sitting there minding their business and everybody's like, hey, the deployments are filled up. And then they come out of nowhere and say, hey, 2 people just fell out the deployment that's leaving in 2 weeks. You got picked up for it. Now you're hurting that person by ultimately they now have to get ready for a deployment in 2 weeks. And they might have a family too. So I'm not a big fan of people that try to get out of deployments because it ends up screwing over his wheel.
There is other stuff that can get you out. Like I know I mentioned to you how I wanted to get the eye surgery done, and that takes you out of deployment for like a year or so, doesn't it?
But that's not really trying to get out of a deployment. That's you doing a surgery. Trying to get out of deployment is you've been tasked.
So
and
they
then
don't-
you go try to get laced.
They don't deploy people who have braces.
No, you cannot deploy with braces. Pregnant, braces, any kind of injuries, waivers, things like that, you can't deploy. So this is a lot of things, but don't do that because deployments are awesome. That's probably gonna be everything about. Does anybody have any questions?